I don't know what it is about Draft League City, but it seems to have some kind of pull. You think you're out, but you just keep coming on back. I think Coach Shroom knew this. Hell, he'd come back after a fair few years in the wilderness himself. But while I mainly helped him source team members, he was building alliances with old friends. Frito, his last opponent, had been the first. An ally of many years who Coach Shroom helped persuade to pick up the sport once again. And now, in the NX Games playoffs, he got to face another. Up until a few months ago, nobody had seen Travistey in nearly 8 years. Much like Shroom, he was a former Pokémon Premier League champion in his own right. These two went way back, and good thing too. With all the things happening in Draft League City over the past few years, I guess Shroom knew he needed people around him he could trust, whether they were battling or not. And if he trusted Trav, well, then I guess I did too. One of these guys needed to go on and win this cursed competition. Remember, my goal here was to see someone reputable win the NX Games and put them to bed once and for all. And with the consortium seemingly out of the picture for now, just maybe there was a chance. Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome to the PPL NX Stage 2 playoffs. Yes indeed, we have made it to the gold bracket of the playoffs for PPL NX Stage 2. Not going to be an easy run this time around, especially given our first opponent is going to be none other than my old friend Travistey, aka Trav, aka the coach of the Canberra Toucannons. His links down in the description below. Everyone else, make sure you check them out. Trav is a very good friend of mine, a very long-term friend of mine. He took a big extended break from Draft League and uploading, much as I did. We helped get him back into it. We drew him back in. And now we have to face off against him. Not going to be easy. He is on a bit of a hot streak when it comes to battling, and his team consists of Gouging Fire, Iron Treads, Tornadus Therian, Araquanid, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Ogerpon, Iron Treads, Gardevoir, Hisuian Quillfish, and the mascot Charmander. So yeah, he's got a lot of those mons on there that just don't die. Like, pretty much everything there, barring the mascot pick, is one of those where, like, you go for a move that's super effective and the mon just doesn't die. So, yeah, not going to be an easy one to get around. We are starting off our team with very offensive Silk Scarf Terapagos here with Tera, Starstorm, Earth Power, Rapid Spin, and Calm Mind. Trav does not have a Ghost type on his team, and the only resistance he has to normal is that Iron Treads. So a Tera Starstorm boosted by Silk Scarf is going to be doing a lot of damage to everything, especially max special attack modest. We have Calm Mind to boost it even further. Rapid Spin boosting our speed, will be outspeeding everything that isn't Scarfed, which is good news. So yeah, happy to just try and spam Tera Starstorm as much as possible with that Silk Scarf boost and try and break holes for some other stuff down the line. Next up, Trav has 9 treads, we've got one of our own as well. We are going with a much more defensive build, very specially defensive in fact. Max special defense, 136 speed, jolly. Earthquake, Ice Spinner, Volt Switch, and Rapid Spin with the heavy duty boots. Looking to take hits from the likes of Tornadus Therian, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, we should take at least one, and multiple hits from the Gardevoir that's quite problematic for me. Yeah, just pretty much keep hazards off my side of the field. You know, hazard stack is something that Trav can do between Iron Treads, Hisuian Quillfish, and Araquanid, and indeed the Ogerpon too. So we want to make sure we're having none of that. And then hopefully we can start Volt Switching around if he's not going to be going into the Iron Treads or the Ursaluna, stuff like that. Now, physical attack is going to be one of Trav's main things against us, so we have a very physically defensive Rocky Helmet Primarina here. 220 into defense, 64 HP. We are 168 modest though, with Draining Kiss, Chilling Water, Calm Mind, and Haze. Yeah, this is a tough one because Trav has some very tricksy things on his team. This is not just here for the Gouging Fire, which is what the likes of Primarina tend to want to take on. It's also here to tank at least like one hit from the Iron Hands. It'll take hits from Treads, but also that Araquanid. Araquanid is Trav's main Tera captain, and he has used it very tricksily in this season so far, and has mentioned plans of using it in very tricksy ways. I'm anticipating this thing to come. If it's Tera Water, I'm anticipating Choice Band. If it's any other Tera, like Steel, I'm expecting it to be something like a trapping set with Water Absorb to trap my Primarina in, and maybe even try and set up like some stockpile, which is something he's also said he will do at some point. So this Primarina is multitasking. It wants to take on the likes of Gouging Fire, but also any tricky Araquanid sets that might become a problem for me. So a lot of pressure on Primarina's shoulders to work defensively, but we need some offense in the team, and that is where Weakness Policy Agility Mew is going to come into play. Max Special Attack Modest, enough speed after an agility to outpace a fair amount of Scarfers on Trav's team. Psyshock, Earth Power, and Ice Beam are hitting him very, very good for a lot of damage. So yeah, this is a potential endgame sweeper. We can pick up Weakness Policy boost on the likes of U-turning Tornadus, U-turning Ogerpon, even a non-adamant hit from the likes of Araquanid, knocks off here and there as well, could be useful for Mew to try and get something going. But it is not our only setup Mon, because we also have a very interesting Chalan Berry Haxorus. With Dragon Dance, 192 attack at +1 will be hitting most things for Oko damage between Dragon Claw, Earthquake and Poison Jab, with the Unnerve stopping those berries. The Chalan Berry is so that the one thing that will be able to take a hit at +1, probably the Ursaluna Blood Moon, won't be able to just ruin us with Blood Moon into Vacuum Wave. With the Chalan Berry, we'll be taking those 2 hits, and we can maybe even set up another Dragon Dance and start going ham with Haxorus. But then we have our own Tera Captain. A big shout out to Amber for putting this set together. We have a very bulky Toxic Orb Tera Fire Breloom here. Near max HP, we've got Adamant Nature, we've got Attack Investment, we've got a lot of Special Defense investment, and we're running Drain Punch, Stone Edge, Bulk Up, and Sub. Drain Punch was originally going to be Focus Punch, but if that sub is broken, I want us to be able to hit the likes of Iron Treads and Ursaluna Blood Moon, Iron Hands, all of those things. So I've gone for Drain Punch to increase our longevity. This can set up bulk ups on a number of things, and hopefully get behind a sub and start doing some nasty damage. So yeah, that is the team I'm going into this battle with. Let's get over to the battle screen and see what Trav has decided to bring against us. So, as you can see, Trav has decided to bring Iron Treads, Gardevoir, Ogerpon, Tornadus, Therian, Iron Hands, and Gouging Fire. No Tera Captains on my opponent's team, which is interesting, and not really what I was anticipating. There is no Araquanid, which I thought was an absolute given. There's also no Ursaluna Blood Moon, which means my Chalan Berry on Haxorus is going to be pretty much useless, unfortunately for me. Now, I consider going with Haxorus here, but looking at what Trav has brought, I'm thinking my best lead is actually going to be the Iron Treads. If we see one of those bottom 2, the Hands or the Fire, we can just go into Prim on it. But I don't want to lead Prim into Ogerpon. That is no bueno for me. So I'm going to lead with Treads and see how Trav decides to respond. So here we go, PPL NX Stage 2, Playoffs Round 1 versus my man Trav. There they are, going to be leading with the Ogerpon, as to be anticipated. We are going to be going with Iron Treads here. I don't overly fear this. Superpower could be a problem, but realistically we should be taking one if it isn't banded. And since there's no Araquanid and there's no Quillfish, it's looking like this is not going to be a hazard stacking team, so I can be a little bit freer with my primary Rapid Spinner. The consideration of going into Mew is there, but realistically it's looking like it might just be a U-turn on out. But if they decide to stay in and go for a Cudgel or a Low Kick or something, I can just take Ice Spinner and see how much damage I can do to this. It is going to be the U-turn straight off the bat from the Ogerpon. That is going to do precious little damage to Iron Treads. I've gone for Ice Spinner, of course. This is going to do very little to anything coming in that isn't the Tornadus, and I really don't see Tornadus coming in because, realistically, Trav should be predicting the Ice Spinner here, given that I have stayed in. It could be the Rocks as well, but either way, they are going to make the play into Iron Hands, knowing that I'm not going to be going for Earthquake. So, Ice Spinner comes in and gets a crit to do not very much. That in mind, I don't feel comfortable going for Earthquake. I really don't think it's going to be taking this thing out from this range. So what I'm going to do is make the safe play and just go into my Prim. I don't anticipate that Trav is going to be over-predicting at this point, specifically when I can just go into this Prim and potentially fire off a very dangerous Moonblast. But what I can do is scout out any doubles by going for Volt Switch. It won't do a whole huge amount of damage to the Iron Hands. But if Trav does want to get cheeky and maybe go into the Tornadus, then we can catch that. As it is, that is not going to happen. Not going to make the play into Tornadus, which is fine. Like I say, my plan is just to Volt Switch on out on the Iron Hands and go into my Primarina. Hopefully get a nice little bit of Rocky Helmet chip damage. That would be delicious. Given that I'm pretty much anticipating a close combat to be coming my way right about now, I don't see any reason for Trav to be over-predicting this early, especially when faced down with an Iron Treads that could do nasty things to Iron Hands if I did want to stay in an Earthquake. Like I say, it didn't look like that crit damage meant Earthquake would take out the Iron Hands from there. I'm considering going into Mew just in case he did want to over-predict on something, but realistically, Primarina is always going to be my safest play. There's no chance of an electric move coming on my way right about now, and as we see, it is going to be a close combat. That's still going to do a good chunk of damage. Looking to be a fairly offensive Iron Hand, that's for sure, and it does take the Rocky Helmet damage. Now, I have a few plays I could make here. I could try and double on out. I don't anticipate this thing to be staying in. But realistically, Draining Kiss is going to be the play of choice. There's not a whole huge amount that actively wants to switch in on, say, a Moonblast. Not that I have that move, but that is something that Trav has to bear in mind. So I'm just going to go for the Draining Kiss and see how much damage I could do to what he has to have an answer to a Primarina. Now, at -1 special defense, Trav does not want to be staying in here. That's for damn sure. He is going to get on out of there and go into the Gardevoir. I'm going to go for a Draining Kiss. It's going to trace my Torrent, which is fine. We're going to go, as I say, for the Draining Kiss, and that is going to do so very little damage. It's not a powerful move. I don't have maximum amount of investment, but even so, that is looking to be Assault Vest Gardevoir from where I'm sitting. And I do need to preserve my Primarina for the likes of the Iron Treads maybe, certainly the Iron Hands, the Gouging Fire, things like that. So, not wanting to stay in here, I am going to have to get on out and try and find something to take on Gardevoir. Best immediate option is going to be my Iron Treads. So, as I say, going to pull my Primarina on back out of there and go into my specially defensive Iron Treads. Going to hit the field and take this Moonblast pretty well. Not maybe as well as I would have liked it to. Gets the special attack drop. That is, of course, massive. No, it certainly isn't. Now, this is clearly one of Trav's main answers to my special offense, the likes of the Terapagos, the Mew, the Primarina. So I really don't anticipate him wanting to stay in here. So I'm just going to go for a Volt Switch, I believe. If they go into the Iron Treads, then kind of so be it. I'll just have to work from there. But I don't know if they're going to want to come in on a potential Earthquake. So I am just going to see about Volt Switching on out and try and get myself a bit better positioned. So, it is going to be a switch out from the Gardevoir as anticipated, and in is going to come the Ogerpon once again. But as I say, I'm just going to Volt Switch on out of there. Obviously it's going to do nothing. I have -1 special attack and I have negative special attack investment. So, that doesn't really make any difference. Now, there's a few options that I could choose to do here. I could try and go with Breloom and try and get this going as early as possible. But in the end, what I decide to do is go into my Mew. Now, the one move that this Ogerpon has shown is the U-turn. But Mew will always be able to be living a U-turn from an Ogerpon that isn't, like, banded. Like, it's just not going to kill a Mew, and Mew is going to take that hit. So what I'm going to do is go into Mew, hoping that Trav is just going to go for the U-turn and just get on out of dodge before Mew can start doing anything nasty. So what I'm going to do here is just click Agility, hoping that that will happen. If it does, Mew's going to be in a really nice position. Now, Trav smells this coming a mile away. It was fairly telegraphed from me, to be honest, but Trav is smarter than the average bear by a long shot, and he knows full well not to click U-turn on Mew, just in case of the weakness policy, and me showing agility there pretty much proves it. So that's unfortunate. Thankfully, the Ivy Cudgel doesn't do anywhere near enough to be two-shotting me, so I am now at +2, and I'm still at a very good range of health. And in is going to come the Gardevoir, predicting me to be that special weakness policy set, which he is exactly right on. I am going to go for the Ice Beam. As we know, this is an Assault Vest Gardevoir. Now, the slight problem here is I'm not sure if I want to go into my Iron Treads. Now that he knows that I'm special, there could be something like a Mystical Fire coming my way. So as you see, I consider going into it, but what I really want to do here, knowing that this is an Assault Vested Gardevoir, is start absolutely chunking it down. I just want damage on it. So what I'm actually going to choose to do here is stay in with Mew, and this might seem counterintuitive, but I am going to start going for Psyshock. Because it's Assault Vest, it's looking to be quite specially defensively invested as well. Psyshock is actually going to be doing the most damage to this thing. So as you'll see, Psyshock is going to come in here. It's not going to be a 2-hit KO from that range, but it's doing more than Ice Beam ever could. And Moonblast is going to come in, and unfortunately that is very clearly going to be a 2-hit KO onto my Mew. There is no sense in trying to think Mew's going to get its weakness policy off now. Like, at the range of health it was at, it was looking dubious as to whether it ever would. So I am once again going to stay in, and unfortunately if Mew has to go down, so be it. But it's looking like there is no way for Trav to get that health back onto the Gardevoir. So if I can chunk it down really low, then it leaves the door open for something else to come in and do some work in revenging it. So I am going to stay in, click Psyshock once more, and get more damage. Here we go, Psyshock going to come in, and as you'll see, that puts Gardevoir right down in the red. The Moonblast is going to come in, and like I say, so be it that Mew goes down. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't get to do the weakness policy stuff, but I have other setup options in the back, and one of those is my Terapagos. So, I am going to bring in my Terapagos. Now, there is every chance that Trav is just going to want to let the Gardevoir go down here. That would seem to be the smartest thing to do, because there is the chance that it can outspeed me and at least break my Tera Shell, and I think that's going to be priority number 1 for Trav if that's the case. In order to guarantee outspeeding, what he may do here is go for the Vacuum Wave just to guarantee that Tera Shell is broken. That in mind, what I'm going to do here is set up a Calm Mind, because even if he goes for Moonblast, Moonblast into Tera Shell, into a Moonblast into +1 from Calm Mind will not take out Terapagos, and with that in mind, what I can hopefully do is Calm Mind and then get the Rapid Spin kill to be at +1 across the board. And as you'll see, that's exactly what's going to happen. Guaranteeing to outspeed, he's going to go for the Vacuum Wave. That's going to do very little, and I'm going to go for a Calm Mind. This puts me in a really nice position, because now at +1 special defense, that Moonblast is going to be doing precious little damage to me, even though I'm not particularly invested in bulk. So what I can do here is tank any given hit and go for Rapid Spin, put myself at +1 special attack, +1 speed, and hopefully do some big damage. So the Vacuum Wave is going to come in, and that, as I say, is going to do very little to Terapagos. We are going to be able to go for the Rapid Spin and get the KO onto Gardevoir. We always like to see a Rapid Spin kill, obviously, but the main thing there is to essentially give Terapagos a special Dragon Dance, with the added bonus of some special defense bulk as well. So now Terapagos is looking in a really good position, and quite honestly, there's not a lot that wants to take on a +1 modest Silk Scarf Tera Starstorm Terapagos. So Trav is going to opt to go into the Iron Hand, which I thought was interesting. My only thought here when I saw this was it must be Sugarberry, anticipating me to have my final move as Earth Power, which indeed it is. However, Silk Scarf boosted Tera Starstorm is always going to do more, and even if its thing is Assault Vest, it's going to take it out. But it is not Assault Vest. As you'll see, Iron Hands is going to go for Endure. This is a fantastic maneuver on Trav's part, and really clever bring to guarantee that something doesn't get an early sweep off, because Endure usually means Custap Berry. If this thing is Custap Berry, it is going to kill me with a close combat, and I cannot let that happen. So what I'm going to have to do here is cut short Terapagos' potential sweep, and I'm going to have to make the switch into my Primarina. I cannot risk my Terapagos going down. So as you'll see, the Custap Berry is going to pop on the Iron Hands. I'm going to get on out of there. I'm going to go into my Primarina to guarantee that the Rocky Helmet takes it out. As you see, it's going to be close combat. Trav couldn't really mess around there. He had to go for CC. And the Rocky Helmet is going to take out the Iron Hands, but honestly, this actually puts Trav in a better position than it does me, because what he's very, very well done there is stopped my Terapagos from potentially, depending on his other sets, just winning the game. So that great play on Trav's part means he's now free to bring in the Tornadus Therian, which is a very dangerous mon to be facing down. It can just kill me here, I'm very well aware of this, but at this point, I'm not taking any more particularly big physical hits with my Primarina, and if this thing sets up like a nasty plot, I'm going to be in a world of pain. So what I'm actually going to do here is stay in and click Haze. I cannot let this Tornadus set up a nasty plot. That is a no-go. If that happens, it does outspeed everything on my team, and it pretty much does just win the game as long as it hits its moves. And that is not something I'm willing to gamble with, so I am just going to click Haze. In the end, Trav goes for the Bleakwind Storm. That's going to take out my Prim, but that is fine. My main thing there, like I say, do not let that thing set up a nasty plot, because that would just have been game. And as you'll see, more to the point, it's Life Orb, so it definitely would have been game. The problem I'm facing is that it still might be game. Like, this thing, Life Orb, can still just rip through my team. I couldn't go into Treads there because all the special defense investment in the world is not going to let me take a Heat Wave Life Orb boosted from the range of health I'm at. So what I have to do here is go into my naturally bulky Turtle and hope that he doesn't have Focus Blast, or if he does, that he misses. Because what he doesn't know is that I will take him out from here with Tera Starstorm. The fact that he isn't Assault Vest guarantees that because of my Silk Scarf boost. So what I just have to hope is that I can live a hit from Tornadus with my natural bulk on the Turtle and get the KO in response. And we're kind of just trading one for one here across all of our various threats. Basically, a threat comes in, we let something go to it and see if we can respond. That's kind of how this battle is going. As you'll see, it is going to be Bleakwind Storm. Thankfully, we are going to be able to take that hit. Trav is going to get the speed drop, which is unfortunate, but realistically, I wasn't outpacing anything else on his team. We're going to go for Tera Starstorm, and as I say, because of that Silk Scarf boost, we are going to be able to net the KO onto the Tornadus. So another big threat removed from the field, but unfortunately, Terapagos' time is looking very limited. So now in is going to come Trav's own Iron Treads. And honestly, I don't have anything that wants to take this incoming hit, particularly, depending on what he goes for. And like I say, everything that Trav has left, which is the Treads, the Ogre, and the Gouging Fire, is probably going to be outpacing my Terapagos, so there is no real need for me to be staying in here. There is no need for me to be saving Terapagos here. I am going to go for the Earth Power, just in case they want to get rocks up or something, but Trav knows better than to mess with a threat. He is just going to go for the Earthquake and take out Terapagos. But a couple more KOs for the Turtle is a very nice thing indeed. But now there is really only one thing I can do here, and that is to go into my Haxorus. There's nothing else that Haxorus can realistically set up on. And it's looking like it might be the only thing I have that can effectively set up, depending on the set of the Ogerpon and the Gouging Fire. So it is going to have to be the Haxorus that comes in here and try and get something going with Dragon Dance. So, as I say, it is time for Haxorus to come in. Now, my own item is useless, so realistically, this is the only chance I have to DD. This thing will outpace me, most likely, but I have significant bulk investment. I'm confident I can take any one hit from this thing, even if it is an Ice Spinner. And with any luck, I'll be able to go for Dragon Dance and then start hitting things hard. With the likes of Breloom left, I don't think that he's going to want to save this. So, as I say, the Ice Spinner is going to come in. That's going to do over half, comfortably. But now I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance. I don't believe this thing is Scarfed. In fact, it certainly isn't because it's switched up moves. But like I say, he's only got Ogerpon and Gouging Fire left. And with Breloom kicking around in the back for me, I don't think he's going to want to save this Iron Treads particularly. So I am just going to go for Earthquake. If he shook it, it won't matter because I have Unnerve. And then hopefully we can start going from there, taking out the rest of his team. But Trav is going to make a very good play here. He is going to make the aggressive switch, and he's going to switch out into the Ogerpon. We're going to go for Earthquake. Now, that is not going to do a whole huge amount of damage. But at this point, like I say, with the pieces that Trav has left, there's nothing else I can realistically set up a Dragon Dance on. So I'm going to stay in here and click Poison Jab. There is always the chance that he is going to be Scarfed, but if he wants to take me out, it's going to have to be this that he goes for. He is indeed a Scarfed Ogerpon, and the Play Rough is going to take out Haxorus without me being able to do anything to trouble the scoreboard. However, I know he is locked in to Play Rough. He pretty much has to be Jolly Natured, and he's locked in to an Unstab Fairy move, which means this is the only opportunity I will get this game to try and set up with Breloom. So, I am going to make that play. I'm going to go into the Breloom, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Terastallize immediately, finally getting it right I hope, and I'm going to click Substitute. If he stays in, it will not be doing enough to break a subsequent sub, and I'll be able to start setting up bulk ups, and hopefully that will leave him scrambling. So, here comes the Terastallization on Breloom. We have done Breloom dirty this season by not tearing properly at all, so I'm hoping this is the time where it's finally going to come good. As you'll see, Trav has opted to stay in here. We know he's locked in, and Play Rough is doing nowhere near enough to break a substitute. So I'm going to go for that substitute. And now we are looking in a very good position as the Toxic Orb is going to activate. At this point, we both know that I know he's locked in. He is now going to have to take big evasive action to try and get around me, because what I'm going to do now, safe behind my sub, is just click Bulk Up. Now, Trav is going to take that evasive action. He is going to get the heck on out of dodge with the Ogerpon, seeing no future in staying in. He's going to go hard into the Iron Treads. As I go for the bulk up. So now I am a +1 attack, +1 defense Breloom sitting behind a sub in front of a steel type. And I have Drain Punch to do big damage. Now, he will outspeed me and he will break my sub with Earthquake. But what I'm going to do here is just go for Drain Punch. If it is the offensive build that I'm expecting it to be, this should be taking him out. So, Earthquake is going to come in here. It's going to score a crit, which doesn't matter, it would have broken my sub no matter what. But like I say, I am free here to just go for a Drain Punch. We're going to land that in and not KO. I was stunned. I mean, I'm not massively invested. I have like 72 EVs in attack, and I am an adamant nature, and this is a Breloom. I was expecting that to KO. Genuinely, I was. And now, rather unfortunately, we're not in a good position. The fact that I'm at +1 defense isn't going to really matter to an offensive Iron Treads. It won't kill me with Earthquake, but it's going to do around 75-ish%, and Drain Punch is not going to get enough back to the point where I'll be able to live a hit from the Gouging Fire coming in afterwards. I am going to go for Drain Punch. There's no reason for me not to. There's no sense in me going for, like, Bulk Up again, because Earthquake into Bulk Up into Earthquake will just kill me. So, Unfortunately, I am going to have to go for the Drain Punch, but that roll on the Drain Punch, and yes, it was a roll, has put me in a really bad position, because as you see, Earthquake's going to come in here, and it's actually going to do close to like 80-85%. Drain Punch is going to get me a whole 1 hit point back, up to, oh no, sorry, a little bit more than that. 3 hit points, I believe. So, either way, even with a Toxic Heal, this is not going to be enough to really let Breloom do any more work this game, unfortunately, especially with what's about to come in against me. Because as you'll see, that's a different nickname, and that is going to be the Gouging Fire, who is going to come in with the booster energy for attack. Bit unfortunate there, because now something like an Outrage or even a Dragon Claw maybe, certainly a Scale Shot, if it's going for that, will be taking out my Breloom. I certainly don't outspeed, I don't have the investment. I am going to click Stone Edge, I believe, here, just on the off chance that I live and can get off a massive hit, and maybe Iron Treads can take us home, but it's not looking great. It is going to be an Earthquake coming in from the Gouging Fire though, so it's all a bit academic from that point. Breloom may have been at +1 defense, but that is a booster energy attack Gouging Fire's Earthquake. That was always going to take out my poor Breloom. At this point, I don't have a choice. I only have one Mon left. It is my Iron Treads. Now, Iron Treads will outpace Gouging Fire. I am EV'd specifically for that purpose. So I know I'll outpace, but I am a specially defensive Iron Treads. I do not have attack investment, so the chances of this Earthquake taking out something as naturally bulky as Gouging Fire, it's looking slim. There is always a chance, you know, we can always crit. There's always that possibility. I did consider Rapid Spin, but realistically, there's no point. That Scarfed Ogerpon will be outpacing me no matter what. So I'm just going to go for Earthquake here and hope for some luck to go my way. And will the luck go my way? It will not. It will not, unfortunately. It's going to do a good amount, but not enough. Trav's going to go for the Flare Blitz. I guess Shuka was more likely than Ockerberry on my Treads. The recoil is not going to take out the Gouging Fire, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the game. So yeah, unfortunate, we do take a 2-0 loss to Trav in what was honestly a really good game. I can't really be mad about that fact. It was a very fun, very close, very back and forth game. There were issues with some of the things I did, like I really didn't use Mew very effectively. I telegraphed the Mew set completely, but I'm sure you'll see it in Trav's video. I'm pretty sure that as soon as Mew hits the field against his Ogerpon, he will say something along the lines of, I can't click U-turn in case it's Sweetness Policy. That's the gamble I would take on what he will say. I'll have to watch and see if that happens when he uploads. But yes, that was not the main issue. I think the main issue was in the end game with Breloom. It was tough because I was fully anticipating that Drain Punch to KO the Iron Treads. I'll tell you all right now, there were only 4 damage rolls that didn't KO, and I got one of them. What are you going to do? These things happen. Realistically, the better play was to go for a second bulk up, actually. Because I knew that an Earthquake wouldn't take me out at +1, so what I should have done there was, as Trav went for Earthquake to break the start, I've gone for a second bulk up. What that means is that the subsequent Earthquake will do about 60-ish, 65-ish%. Drain Punch guarantees the KO, and with the healing from Drain Punch and Toxic Heal, I'm in a much better position against the Gouging Fire, who comes in. I have to land a Stone Edge, I have to get good rolls on that, probably depending on the set, so it's all a bit up in the air, but realistically, I think with hindsight, a second bulk up was the play and gave me a better chance, but I was a bit nervous about going for that. You know, Breloom had bulk investment, but it's still a Breloom. It's not the bulkiest thing in the world. But that is the first time Breloom really did something with Tera, so yay. I hope that's more acceptable. No names mentions. Chaos. But yeah, you know, I can't take anything away from Trav. He played a very good game and prepped very well, you know. He hasn't missed a beat since coming back to Draft League after such a long time out. and his link will be in the description. Please go and check out Trav. He's a very good friend of mine. And like I say, he's been out of the game for a long time. We sort of helped bring him back in, and he has run with that. And he is in very good form right now. He's putting out some fantastic battles. You should go watch them. You'll like them, I think. But yeah, where does this leave us? Well, we're out of the first round of playoffs. Given good performances last time, we could still make the grand finals of PPL NX, but we'll just have to wait and see if that happens, I guess. In the meantime, do stick around, because there's stuff coming to the channel that you might be interested in. So keep an eye out. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long. My throat hurts, and it is time for me to sleep, even though it's light outside. I haven't slept yet. It's a bit of a problem. I should do that. So I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long. My final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.